Angel Reese, she might have tapped out, y'all. Angel Reese may have tapped out and quit on the Chicago Sky. Everybody is speculating. What is this back injury? What's going on? Hey, are you trying to pretend like you hurt because Caitlin Clark really is hurt? Wait. What's going on?
Angel Reese might be hiding behind more than just a back injury excuse. What she really seems to be dodging is accountability. 3 games in 3 weeks, each ending in ugly blowout fashion, and the Chicago Sky are looking less like a professional franchise and more like a neighborhood rec league squad. Since June, they've been spiraling out of control with no adjustments, no urgency, and no answers. Yet every time fans demand clarity, the Sky repeat the same vague phrase, day to day. No medical details, no official reports, just silence, frustration, and a growing suspicion that this so-called injury is nothing more than a smokescreen.
I think Angel Reese, and I'm saying this with my chest out, I think she's quit on the Chicago Sky. She's been claiming a back injury basically since the All-Star break. And there's no details. Every day we hear that Angel Reese is day to day. And every week there's no update on what she's struggling with, what she's doing. There's nothing. There's no information about Angel Reese. I think she's quit on this season.
And here's the twist. Fans aren't buying it anymore. The whispers have turned into shouts. Many believe Angel Reese may have flat out quit. If she's really injured, why is she skipping games but showing up online to promote sneakers? How does a shoe launch take priority over teammates, the city of Chicago, and loyal fans desperate for hope? If you want to be the face of the WNBA, disappearing when your team needs you most isn't just a bad look, it's a reputation killer. What do you think? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Is Reese truly injured or just sitting out the season by choice?
The second missing component in the WNBA right now is Angel Reese and her dozens of aliases. Has anyone seen Bayou Barbie lately? Where in the hell is Double Double Barbie? Where is the me-bound clown? It has been weeks since I have heard anything about Angel Reese. She's becoming known as the Vanishing Barbie because no one can find her.
The inconsistencies are glaring. Normally, when a pro athlete goes down, the team discloses the specifics: ankle sprain, hamstring pull, concussion protocol. Fans get a recovery timetable. But with Reese, nothing. Just day-to-day on repeat for almost a month. No clarity, no explanation, no transparency. And when the silence drags on this long, fans can't help but wonder if there's an injury at all. Or if Chicago is just protecting her image while the team collapses.
Supposedly, Angel Reese has been dealing with a back injury. That is the official reason for her mysterious absence. But there has been rampant speculation that this back injury isn't as serious as Angel Reese claims. And some believe that Angel Reese has quit on her team and quit on the season.
Contrast that with the Indiana Fever, where professionalism is the standard. If Caitlin Clark tweaks her knee or bangs her elbow, the organization immediately updates fans. Specific body part, severity, recovery timeline, all laid out. That's transparency. That's respect. Fans know where things stand. Chicago, on the other hand, has turned Reese's absence into a mystery, and with every unanswered question, they lose more of the trust that keeps fans invested.
Hey, look. Bruh, you gotta remember, she quit in Unrivaled. She just stopped playing in Unrivaled. Said she was hurt, didn't show up for the championship game, didn't even show up and watch. Last season, she claimed her wrist was messed up, didn't finish playing in none of the games. Now, this year, she's saying this season, it's her back. It looked like she's not finishing playing in none of the games. The Sky needs you. The Chicago Sky, you guys are the gum on the bottom of the shoe of the league. They need Angel Reese to play in games. Angel, where you at? Where are you at, Angel? This is not-
Secrecy isn't calming anyone. It's fueling chaos. In the last 3 weeks, Reese has only played in 3 games. For a day-to-day injury, that doesn't add up. Day-to-day means you're right on the edge of returning, not sitting out 80% of the schedule. At this point, it looks less like a short-term setback and more like an indefinite shutdown. And when teams refuse to give the truth, fans fill the gaps with theories harsher than the reality might have been.
In the last 4 weeks, Angel Reese has played 3 games. I'm no expert in math, but that appears to be less than 1 game a week. Unsurprisingly, all 3 games Angel Reese played in, the Chicago Bravado lost by an average of 18 points. Translation, they got their ass kicked.
That's where things get messy. Some fans believe this is bigger than basketball. Maybe the Sky are protecting Reese. Maybe Reese doesn't want the real reason out there. The head coach hasn't helped, repeating day to day like a broken record in every press conference. Even ESPN has hinted she's probably done for the year. Side by side, that contrast makes Chicago's official stance look less like strategy and more like a cover-up.
Angel Reese declined to travel to Indianapolis, and her coach came out and said something about, she's just focused on her rehab right now, and, she's day to day. We've never had an explanation on what caused the back injury, what's a time frame for her recovery. It's similar to so-and-so's back injury. This is something she struggled with here or there. All we've heard is day-to-day, and Angel Reese has disappeared.
So here's the burning question. Is Angel Reese battling a serious injury, or is she strategically unavailable? Because day-to-day is starting to sound less like a medical update and more like code for don't expect her back anytime soon. Timing matters in sports, and right now, the timing of her absence looks more like avoiding responsibility than recovering from anything.
Body is ablaze right now. Everybody's wondering, what is really going on with Angel Reese? Has she just flat out quit again? Has she quit on the Chicago Sky? Angel, you have to have some level of self-awareness here.
Look closer. Reese plays 3 games, each a loss by an average of 18 points, and then gone. Usually, an absence follows a freak accident or standout performance, but vanishing right after a string of blowouts? That feels less like rehab and more like an escape hatch.
She identified once they lost Vandersloot, their point guard, early in the year, and once they started getting their brains beat in, hey, we're not gonna win anything this year. I'm not putting these L's on my resume. I'm going to have an excuse for the Chicago Sky potentially coming in with the worst or second worst record in the WNBA. These losses will not be on my resume.
Let's not sugarcoat it. The Sky are sitting at a miserable 8-24 record. They've been mathematically out of playoff contention since June. Brutal doesn't even begin to describe it. And for Reese, stepping away now doesn't resemble leadership. It looks like she's protecting her personal brand while her teammates sink without her.
I think Angel Reese has quit on the season. The Bravado are 8-24. They were essentially eliminated from the playoffs back in June. I'm sure Angel Reese believes that there's no reason for her to play, but I think it could be a bit deeper than that too.
The optics are awful. Chicago is collapsing, the season's in shambles, and every missed game makes it look like Reese doesn't want to be associated with the wreckage. Some fans even believe she's dodging being remembered as part of one of the worst teams in the league. But here's the kicker. When she was playing, the results didn't change. The blowouts kept coming. If she truly wanted to prove her value, staying on the floor through the collapse was her opportunity. Instead, her absence has strengthened the narrative that she'd rather protect her image than fight for her team.
I'm wondering if Angel Reese is in no rush to return because She doesn't want to be blamed for declining mainstream interest in the WNBA. We've been talking about this the past couple of weeks. What are the biggest storylines right now in the WNBA? Outside of AA batteries flying on the court, gift wrapped in plastic wiener, what is there to talk about? Since Caitlin Clark has been injured, which has damn near been the entire season, but mainly since the All-Star break, there has been minimal mainstream interest in pretend basketball.
From another angle, maybe Reese doesn't even want to play right now because the WNBA itself is sputtering. Ratings are slipping. The hype that felt unstoppable just weeks ago has already cooled. By sitting out, Reese avoids being tied to that decline. The narrative shifts away from her performance and toward her brand, her sneaker deal, her marketing moves, her off-court persona. For someone carefully managing an image, it's a convenient escape hatch.
Last weekend, the Indiana Felines played the Chicago Bravado in prime time on ABC. They drew 1.3 million viewers. It was the least watched game between these two teams since Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese entered the league. Guess who would have been blamed for these ratings if she was playing last weekend? Angel Reese. Guess who would be blamed for the declining mainstream interest the last few weeks if she was on the court? Angel Reese.
And the proof is in her actions. While sidelined, Reese still traveled to Indiana, not to face Caitlin Clark, not to suit up for her teammates, but to promote her Reebok sneakers. She even dropped that infamous line about taking over Caitlin Clark's trap right in Clark's backyard. A marketing stunt dressed up as a rivalry. Weeks later, she's all over social media hyping her Reebok shoe release, even comparing her sneakers to Michael Jordan's legacy. Smiling, shaking hands, selling shoes, but nowhere to be found when it's time to play against the Fever.
Like, you're going to get the yeses. You're going to get more yeses than nos, and just being able to know that. So I'm excited for that. I know that's going to come soon.
That's the clearest sign yet of where her priorities lie. You can't brand yourself as the face of the league while skipping games fans paid to see. The optics turned downright comical when she returned to the lineup only after her grandmother showed up in the stands. Suddenly, the back injury vanished in time for a photo op, but not for the sake of a desperate team fighting through disaster.
The only reason Angel Reese agreed to play against Washington is because her grandmother was in attendance, and it was the first time grandma would see her granddaughter clap back at the haters in the WNBA dunk.
And that's the disconnect. Reese seems more focused on brand deals than basketball, while the sky drown in losses. Compare that to Caitlin Clark, and the difference is night and day. Clark fights. Reese disappears. Clark updates her fans. Reese hides behind day to day. Clark embraces the grind. Reese embraces the spotlight.
What is the back injury? Everybody's questioning it now. And this will be a third straight season where Angel Reese did not finish playing in games, where she just stopped. She just stopped. Some of these injuries, we saw the injuries. We didn't see what happened. What happened? This is bad.
2 stars, 2 injury situations. Only one is handling it like a professional. Fans keep repeating it. Clark's team is transparent. Reese's isn't. Clark is accountable. Reese vanishes. That's why the comparison keeps coming back to haunt her. One builds trust, even when the news is bad. The other erodes it with silence.
What they do not understand is that coaches, and I know the WNBA in some regards isn't a real sports league, and I don't know if they think like real coaches and real people in sports, but the number one ability is availability. If you're not available, you have no value.
What stands out most is Clark's commitment to her fans. Even banged up, she shows up. Courtside, signing autographs, talking to kids, giving interviews, always present, always visible. Reese? Nowhere near the bench, the arena, or her team. The only time she turned up in Indiana was to push Reebok sneakers, not to support her teammates against the Fever. And the scoreboard doesn't lie. Indiana has dominated Chicago this season, winning 4 matchups. That's not a rivalry. It's a one-sided beatdown. And every time Reese is missing, it feeds the perception that she's ducking Caitlin Clark.
Last year with the Chicago Sky, you quit. You quit. You threw in the towel. Once you realized you never stood a chance, to be honest, with Caitlin Clark for that Rookie of the Year. But once you realized your double streak was over, and it was over. She took over post-Olympic break. Once you realized it was done, you threw in the towel, said your wrist was hurting for the rest of the year. You threw in the towel and said your wrist was hurting for the rest of the year and didn't play again. This past the inaugural season of Unrivaled, you didn't even finish that season. You didn't even show up for the championship. No, not only did you not play, you didn't even show up to the game at all. People noticing a pattern with you. That's too.
Perception is everything in sports. Clark looks like the warrior, refusing to quit even while bruised. Reese looks like someone who quit on her team. And the longer she stays away, the more permanent that image becomes. It's not just her reputation at stake, it's the league's. Ratings are already sliding, and missing stars only drive casual fans further away. People tune in for marquee names, not mysteries.
Yet again, the Indiana Fever face the Chicago Sky, and yet again, we whoop that. Oh boy. 92-70, it was a whole...
The media has already framed the story. Clark's injury is real. Reese's is not. Whether fair or not, that narrative is sticking. Clark is the fighter. Reese is the faker. That's the perception fans are left with. And once that label settles in, it's almost impossible to shake. Every day-to-day update makes the league look weaker, more unserious, less transparent. In a sport fighting for credibility, that's fatal. So here's the big question. Is Angel Reese truly injured, or is she just dodging accountability to protect her brand? Let us know what you think down in the comments. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on all notifications so you never miss the next breakdown.